the power of sci-fi radio.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Good evening, everybody. It's another Thursday night, which means Docking Bay 94. I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby. And we are glad to have you guys here on a Thursday.
Hello.
Yeah?
Oh, there I am.
Yeah, I gave you a little more volume.
Thank you.
So Jeff Donoho is usually with us, but he's busy picking someone up from work, so he'll join us a little bit late. You could be listening to us on sci-fi.radio, sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. We're there 24/7 with nerd music and stuff like that. All sorts of shows. You can go check that out at that URL. Or you could be watching us on Facebook or on Twitch or on YouTube. Any of those things. I'm going to launch our chat over here so I can see who all is tuning in. We should have all sorts of people back from Japan, Star Wars Celebration Japan.
But are any of them our listeners? Or are all of our listeners poor and we're not able to?
Well, we know for sure Alan went.
Right, Alan went.
And he seemed to have a pretty great time based on all of his pictures.
But people might still be traveling?
Yes, they could be.
So I know Craig is back.
Yeah, Craig Miller was the head of fan relations for Star Wars back in the day. He had a really good time. He said he had somebody kind of host his trip over there and really set him up. They had copies of his book translated into Japanese. They gave him picture cards to hand out. Yeah, pretty amazing. And then he got to run into Tony Daniels, who was like being hosted in the booth next door to him for like an interview or something. So that was fun because they go way back. So yeah, not too bad.
Craig has a big write-up on his page in Facebook.
He does.
There's Talonthorn. Hello.
Woo. And Alan has popped in. He's back. He's back. Okay. And in a bit of admin, Alan, send me a list of all the people who are committed for the Upland Public Library Star Wars Day so I can do a promo video for that.
There we go.
I didn't want to bug him when he was on vacation, but I will totally embarrass him on the air.
Kelly and Young Lee are both here.
Excellent.
Although I understand Kelly is going to Star Wars night tonight, so probably not here for long.
Oh, I guess I don't see Kelly. That's funny.
On Facebook?
Yeah. I just see Young Lee. But and Jeff piped in. He's waiting to pick up Sparrow from work. So when he shows up, we will add him to the mix, as we usually do. Hope everybody had a good week. Ours was pretty good.
It was pretty busy.
Yeah, it did some stuff. I'm in a technologically challenged mode. I go through those periodically, and so man, I've been fighting with my computer. If something goes wrong with the show, I'm just like not going to be surprised at all, because like I had trouble with my morning radio show. I had trouble with Windows. It's been crazy, and I had trouble applying for a job. I was bummed. So I applied for a job at Disney that I've been waiting for a while, and my Microsoft Suite crapped out, so I had to learn some new software. I had to redo my resume, I had to redo my portfolio, and I had to submit this job online. So I started at like 10 o'clock, and the job application process was very convoluted. I had to make an account, get double authentication set up, get all these passwords done. It had me set up an account like 3 times. And then it didn't want me to just give the resume. It wanted me to fill out this form that basically had all the same information from my resume, but I had to make it fit into the application process. and figure out what it didn't like, because I'd like go to submit it and go, oh, we don't like something in there. So I'd have to like start deleting stuff and getting rid of things. And it was just so messy. And it took me so long. It was so complicated that I went past midnight. And I went like 4 or 5 minutes past midnight. And I like had finally got everything that I thought they would be happy with. And I hit send and the job was gone. They had taken it off. And I didn't get to apply for the job at all. It's like, man. So that's been like the week. It's like little things like that all over the place. And I'm kind of tired from it. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah. So we did just a ton of stuff. We went to a protest. It's called the Hands Off Democracy protest.
Was that just
That was
this past
Saturday.
week? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I thought that was 2 weeks ago. I didn't put it on the schedule at all.
Yeah, I know. Look at what you didn't put on the schedule and what I added for you. And I didn't even add the job thing.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me go get some pictures here of some of this stuff, because
we decided kind of last minute to go. We decided like
the night
around
before,
9 o'clock the night before.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, it's too late to go to have any signs. And are we going to want to be at a protest for an hour and a half with no signs? Granted, all of the other protests that I've been to, which is only a handful, I didn't have a sign, but I kind of felt like we needed a sign this time. And Sean said, well, we could just go to the drugstore. They carry poster board. So we went to the closest 24-hour pharmacy and picked up some, what is that stuff called?
Foam core.
Foam core. And then Sean got up early the next morning, and I was able to drag myself
Which
out
is
of bed
like
a little bit
amazing
later.
for me, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't do mornings.
And he like got his all done, and then he suggested that I design mine on the computer and print out the pages and glue them
Just to make
the
it
board.
easy.
Yeah,
Because we didn't have much time.
it made it so much more legible.
So
So-
here's Colleen and I. We're standing out in front of what essentially was Flynn's Arcade in Tron, where the city hall is right there. Flynn's Arcade and the what we call the Munchkin Hotel, the Culver City Hotel, where the Munchkins stayed during the filming of Wizard of Oz, is to the east of us. And so we're looking south, where there were all sorts of, somebody had estimated between 800 and 1,000 protesters were there, which was cool. And
it was a really safe place to protest.
oh, completely. Although
I mean,
we made it slightly less safe by standing on the island in the middle of the street.
we did.
But that's how we roll.
But it was so crowded on the side of the street in front of City Hall where we were supposed to be that it was just easier to be on the island. And we could address both sides of the traffic, which
And
was
that
kinda
made
cool.
it super fun.
And my sign was two-sided, so I could just hold it up.
Yeah. This is sign one for Colleen.
Yeah.
That was
It says Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion, which spells out Jedi. So I drew lightsabers on it.
right, has lightsabers on it, and she's wearing her Galaxy's Edge hat.
And also a I Rebel shirt.
Right, from Rogue One.
Yep.
And then I had this sign, so I wore a kilt because I figure if you're gonna rebel all the way. And it says only you can prevent fascist liars, and it has a picture of Smokey the Bear on it with a band on his hat that says resist, and it has flames around it and stuff like that. And I was hoping people would get the joke, and they did. They totally. People would like stop at the light and be laughing. They would like look and laugh and point. You could
And a
totally
lot
tell
of
they
people
got it.
came over and asked for Sean to hold up his sign so they could take a picture of it.
And to be fair, I did not make this up. I found it online. I just thought it was awesome. I
I found the Jedi thing online too. So
This is the other side of Colleen's sign.
This one I didn't find online, and I'm not sure whether it really said what I was entirely trying to say. It says, Congress, take back your power, and it has a crown that's got an X through it, no crowns. And then it says hashtags no U.S. kings.
Crown busters.
What I was trying to say was, we're losing all of our government is set up with checks and balances, and Congress is has given away their power.
They're just sitting on their hands.
Yeah,
which
they're
is a real
not.
bummer.
They're not standing up to the president at all, and it's just like they're rolling over and giving up.
Anyway, we got this a little late, and we got to this event a little late, and so we
actually got there 5 minutes
for
late.
an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Which was fun. It went a little longer than they said it was going to, which was cool. And we left. People were still there.
Yeah. We left after an hour and a half.
Yeah.
The event was supposed to be an hour and a half.
Like I said, we were across from Flynn's Arcade, which this is an awning for the second story of the building. Which, if you remember Tron, this was his arcade, and this second floor office space for lease sign was where the Flynn's neon sign was. It's a really neat building. I think it's called the Hull Building. It's been there for a really long time, and it's mostly a restaurant now called Acacia, but it's a neat old school cool building, and one of those ones I'm kind of glad that the city hasn't knocked down yet. Culver City seems to be pretty good about trying to preserve some stuff, except where they put the Culver Steps, where they took out 3 or 4 streets. And we'll talk more about that a little later on, because Colleen and I went to a lecture that discussed sort of exactly that. This is the Culver Hotel, which was the Munchkin Hotel. And we just kind of walked around, checked stuff out. The old Culver City Studios, which has a building that was sort of based on Terra from Gone with the Wind. They filmed the burning of Atlanta here in this area from Gone with the Wind, and a bunch of other stuff. MGM Studios was right across the street, and we had lunch, and we had ice cream, and beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. It was absolutely nice. Colleen and I just had a nice day hanging out with each other.
Yeah, and
that's rare these days, because we're always just kind of running around doing stuff. So, and
it was a day in the park as far as protests go. It was
everybody was great, and everybody driving by. I only saw 1 or 2 middle fingers. Some guy drove by screaming, "Let's go, Brandon," which always makes me laugh, because if I've noticed something about people who are fans of the current administration, they live in the past, and they talk about Hillary Clinton a lot. They talk about Obama a lot, and they talk about Joe Biden a lot. And this guy's completely epitomized. He was trying to be tough, and he just sounded like a dude. Because we're sitting there going, "Yeah, we liked Joe Biden too. Let's go." Anyway, it was fun. We did feel like we accomplished something in a very kind of mellow sort of way, but it was. I'm glad we went, for sure.
Hi, Samantha, and I don't think we said hi to Bulala. That's someone else altogether, but Budala. So yeah, we did that, and then I think we took the rest of the day. I had big plans. I was all, I'm gonna sew. No, I got home and read a book for the rest of the day. So
I think that's an acceptable way to spend the day.
Yeah, well. But the next morning we got up, not totally bright and early, but bright and early for us, and went to DCA. I feel like we got there around, after parking and everything, we got into the park around 10-ish.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Parking was tough. It takes about an hour to get into Disneyland from when you park on a busy day. You pull in, you got to wait to get through the gate, you got to get to the parking, you got to walk there. We decided to not take the tram because it was a mob at the tram. And so we walked to downtown Disney. We breezed through security, and we just walked the length of downtown Disney, saw what new stuff was going on there. It was Easter, so it was interesting to see what Easter stuff was going on.
Not a lot. I mean, they had, you could, for $10, you could buy this card that you walked around and you looked for Easter eggs that were done up as Disney characters. And if you could write down where all 10 of them were or get a stamp or something like that, I'm not quite sure what the method was.
Right.
You could get like a little tchotchke.
First thing we did, we went in and we went right on California Adventure, which are Soarin' Over California, which was supposed to be kind of a long line, but wasn't. We thought of our friend Samantha because we saw Minnie Mouse in her 1920s outfit. And our friend Samantha, who's home with the baby, but listening right now, was friends with Minnie Mouse. And so we totally thought of her while we were there.
So I just have to say, this was the most... one of the most busy, accomplished Disney Adventure, California Adventure days I've ever had.
But also the most fun. I think this is just the most fun we had at DCA in a long time.
So we went to 4 shops, 7 rides, 4 experiences, 2 shows, tried 9 foods, and had 2 aborts. Like,
right.
you know.
And 2 things we tried to do that didn't happen.
It didn't work out.
This was Soarin' Over California, and I took a picture because I thought it was funny. So I went in a kilt. Sorry, I'm going to have to restart Zoom for Jeff later on. The meeting ended.
The meeting ended?
Yeah, it was weird. Because nobody was in it but me.
Oh.
So it ended. We've been waiting for Jeff.
Sorry.
So I took a picture of this because being in a kilt and then going on Soaring Over California where they lift you up in the air and wave you around just seemed really funny to me to be in a kilt while doing that. They had me on the bottom row, so nobody was like going to try to look up the kilt, but it was pretty funny. Then we went on The Little Mermaid, and The Little Mermaid was pretty fun because we got stuck at the end. They stopped it. And so we were stuck in this like final scene where we got to like look at all the animatronics and see what was going on. And we were like sort of in between 2 scenes, which was funny. Although I wish we'd been stuck in the Under the Sea section because then I finally would have gotten a really good picture of Mr. Limpet, who is an Easter egg in there. He's in he's in a place you're never supposed to look. Which is funny.
Well, I certainly didn't see him. I restarted the Zoom.
Okay, great. And so this is where we were. We were completely stuck in our little clam buggies, and we stayed
at the very end.
Yeah, at the very end.
You can see the end of the ride right there.
Yeah, we almost got out.
Trapped.
But it was still pretty funny. I'm not completely sold on these animatronics, by the way. They're kind of creepy. There's something about Ariel that her head's just weird. I think they need to revisit them with the new technology they've got that they've been putting in other rides, like Tiana's and like Frozen and that kind of thing. We did the Rollickin' Roadsters, which was really fun. And one of the nice things about the day is we had the opportunity because we usually go in with no agenda. But we just took our time and we gave in to the line. Where it's like, okay, this says it's going to be 45 minutes.
We did not give into the racers line.
We didn't. No.
I didn't. I'm not up for a 90-minute line.
No, that was too long. We were going to do the single rider line, and the single rider line looked longer than the regular line.
Yeah,
it was crazy. But we did do Rollickin' Roadsters, which was really fun. And we spent a lot of time watching this the ride do its thing, and of course they play a song and all these cars dance, and they're all trackless, and it's really cool. But we got one of the more energetic.
It was throwing us around.
Yeah, it, like see her sliding all over the car and that kind of thing. And I don't think this one has a seatbelt. I don't remember it having.
Yeah,
a
it had a seatbelt,
Did it?
but we were.
But
it was
it
one
like didn't keep you in
seatbelt
place.
that went across both of us.
Right. It was like we were
Yeah.
sliding all over the place.
Right.
But you know, it's kind of fun. You can kind of tell the day we're having because we actually remembered to take selfies.
Yeah.
Which we never ever do. But yeah, so we had a good time there. We hung out in Avengers Campus for a while till they kicked us out so Captain America could do his show.
Well, and they didn't make it clear where they wanted us to go, so we were sitting on these. There are these. It's kind of a stage, but it's a
there's
steps
steps,
area.
but benches, but a stage.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of people sitting there, and they said, okay, everybody has to move. And they had some people that were, she said everybody could go behind that line. So on the steps, we moved over to behind that line, and she came over and she said, oh, you're going to have to move. So on the steps, we moved over all the way over to where there were chairs next to it. And she came over and said, you're going to have to move. You have to move like 3 feet. And then some other people who were there went into the spot that we would have moved into. So we walked away.
It was just bizarre. So we kept moving and moving and moving and moving. And it was never enough. And just absolutely bizarre. So, yeah. So we ended up kind of bailing. And then we tried to go to lunch.
Yeah.
And we had a reservation for lunch that Colleen made because it was going to get us good seating over at World of Color 1.
So I have to say that ever since we came back from COVID, or whenever they came up with the new World of Color show, I've been trying to see it. I have failed because we get to Disney California Adventure too late to get a reservation.
Right.
And we don't want to stand at the back of the crowd and not be able to see. So I thought, oh, here's a solution. We'll get one of those meal packages. But I all kinds of read the meal package wrong. I thought that the child's price was the adult's price, which honestly, I was out of my mind to think that Disney would sell an adult meal plus a show for under $50. So that was on me. And also,
but we were ready to eat that, though. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
yeah,
It's
we
a
were like,
special
okay,
thing.
you know, I made the reservation. It's my fault. I'll do it. But then the meal also, it wasn't clear what the meal was when I signed up for it. I thought you could order off the menu, and that was not the case.
It was an abbreviated menu that basically didn't contain the things we wanted to eat.
It had a choice of Caesar salad or tomato soup. It had a choice of roasted cauliflower or fried chicken, or for $10 extra, you could get short ribs.
Right.
And then for dessert, it had gray stuff, and I don't like gray stuff. I do not find it delicious.
It was a gray stuff brownie, I think. Or tart.
Whatever.
Gray stuff
All
tart.
I saw was the thing that said gray stuff, and I went, I don't want that.
Right.
Or if you wanted, for an extra $18, you could get a vodka-based drink as your dessert.
Yeah, which seemed not cool either.
So, well, I definitely don't like vodka. So I went back to the people at the counter and said, at the hostess station, and said, look, I know that it's like $10 per person if you don't make your reservation, but I'm here. I hate everything on your menu. I didn't understand how much it was going to cost. The guy sitting next to us is eating crawfish that smelled revolting.
Like rancid shrimp. It was so bad.
Just everything about this is making me really unhappy. Oh, and it was really hard for us to find the Magic Key Terrace.
We knew where the Magic Key Terrace was. It was just that the signage
the
that they
signage
put
was
up
really bad.
to find out where to check in took us all the way up to the restaurant, which they told us was wrong. We went back down and guessed at where they wanted us to check in, which turned out to be right. And then they sent us back to the same restaurant they told us was wrong.
Yeah, right, to the same, up the same stairs and everything.
It was just dumb. Really dumb.
So they said, oh, no, you're fine. You checked in. You didn't abandon the reservation. It just didn't work out for you, so it's fine. So we went to go... We decided to just check and see whether we could get a reservation for World of Color, because when we walked into the park, we had noticed that the stand to make a reservation was there. It was gone already. But we thought, hey, you know what? I think you can make these reservations in the app. It's probably not there, but let's see. We totally got reservations.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So we didn't need to do the price fixed dinner, and
we just had to be patient.
Yeah.
So
but previously we wouldn't have been able to. If we tried to do this a year ago, we wouldn't have been able to.
It wouldn't have worked. Yeah. So coming out of this place, I think this is the most green I have ever seen in California Adventure. This was the exit route that took you through like the winery kind of a deal. Hey, Chris. And it was kind of pretty, even though like 180 degrees behind us was the check-in kiosk that was such a pain to find, which was pretty funny.
And we managed to find some great snacks at the last day of the Food and Wine Festival. We
should have taken pictures of the food.
Well, the first one,
which we always forget
we
about.
wouldn't have, because we were hangry by that time.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
We tried the where is it? I wrote it down. It's right here. The LA style booth had Western barbecue burger bao with sweet barbecue sauce, bacon, and crispy onion. And it was your standard bao. It was like $9 or $10 for one bao. It was
smaller than I wanted it to be, but it seemed bigger than the mini danger dog that they were serving. Right. It was the other option.
I didn't want a danger dog.
If you don't want if you don't know what a danger dog is, it's a Los Angeles thing where it's a hot dog like wrapped in bacon and broiled and has a bunch of stuff on it.
And they sell it in the street.
Right. They sell it from a booth, from a cart in the street, not off the street.
Not a booth, a cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
and then and I thought the filling wasn't very good. They did a cheeseburger filling, maybe.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if it was.
Yeah. It was supposed to be a
ground beef
burger bao, and it was okay.
Yeah, I think that pork bao is much better, barbecue pork, but it took the edge off our hangry, and then we were in a good mood again. Especially because then we went to another booth.
We had a drink too, didn't we?
Then we went to another booth. We had to walk across to another one, where we got sirloin Gruyere mac and cheese with black garlic chimichurri and garlic butter, along with a huckleberry citrus cooler, which was huckleberry and agave syrups, grapefruit soda, lemon and orange juices, black tea garnished with orange. And those are both really good. I was very pleased. The huckleberry wasn't as huckleberry as the soda that Sean and I like and can't find anymore.
Right.
But it was nice sort of background flavor in this drink. And so I was glad that they had that option.
Yeah, and I'm glad. I knew that we were going to be there on just about the last day of the Food and Wine Festival. It ended the following day on a Monday. And I wanted... One of the things that was good about the date that we'd chosen to go was just in case Colleen wanted to experience some of that, she could. And so that it worked out really good for us. Yeah. It was pretty good.
I don't know if people can tell what this is.
Oh, I'm just kind of flipping through pictures. This is in the waters.
It's a dead rat.
It's a dead Remy. Poor Remy.
It's one of those little shoulder things.
Right.
Attached to a bubble wand
floating in the water,
dropped into the
mostly we had like ducks and geese, which were pretty normal, but we had this weird drowned rat that was just kind of strange. We went to the animation building, and we went into the sorcerer's workshop, which was pretty fun. I don't know if Colleen had ever been in there.
Oh yeah, I've been in there.
Had you? Okay.
Yeah.
And
I've never done the drawings though.
Right. So it's got the whole kind of fantasy vibe, and they let you make animation strips
Zoetrope
to use in a zoetrope, which is cool. And so they've got the mirror chanting at the end of the road, and he gets successively more sinister. There was more to it that said it was closed to students only. We don't know what was back there. But this was Colleen's animation of her popping Mickey balloon. So that bottom white animation in pencil was Colleen's animation, which was really fun. And
yeah, it was fun. It turns out you need to make your lines really heavy in order for it to be seen
right,
at all.
so it took us a little while to accomplish that.
Yeah.
But it was not too bad.
And then we went to Turtle Talk with Crush, which was fun.
Yeah, Turtle Talk, we missed one show, so we went into animation to kill some time. And then we went in to kind of check out. It's reminded me a lot of the Country Bears lineup thing, where you couldn't really... It was just like a mob, and you're not really sure where you're supposed to go. So we just kind of went to the front, went in and sat down. And this is a show that I love going to, but it also is a little funny for me because I got a job being Crush. I got hired as Crush. But at the time they hired me and the amount that they were paying, it turned out that it would have cost me money to work for Disney. I would have paid about $200 a month to work for them because the amount that they were paying would not cover all of my gas and stuff. So I wouldn't have made any money. But it would have been interesting to do because I'd have been working there for, 15 years or something by now. But it's fun. The guy who was doing Crush was really awesome. Very funny. A lot of good improv going on. And, a show that we still enjoyed even though tall people were sitting in front of us.
Yeah.
Boo.
So Jeff has popped in, by the way, if you hear
Hey,
noises.
Jeff.
You'll see him in the
Hi,
window.
everybody.
Down below. Hey, dude.
Finally made it.
Woohoo.
We're going through our DCA day in way too much detail.
Right.
I see.
We did Web Slingers, which was...
This is where we did the single rider line.
Yes, and it actually worked out great.
Yeah, it
we
was really
skipped
nice.
a 45-minute line. I think we spent 15 minutes in line, which was great. And they put us in an area like way over to the right where we got a really good look at this whole sort of workshop area, which was cool. I absolutely love this picture of Peter Parker. He looks like how I feel most of the time. Just like sort of mildly annoyed. Like, really? Oh my god. But yeah, so it was fun to look at this whole workshop thing. And it looks like there's nobody in there, but there was a reasonable crowd. We were just way off to the side, all the way shoved up to the front. And then we did Mater's tractor run. And we spent a lot of time looking at that kind of stuff too. This thing here is looks like a sister club to our Road Squadron Star Wars car group, the National Automotive Space Car Association.
I see. Yeah, okay.
Doesn't it sound like it should be a sister group? I'm thinking of making this into a sticker so that we can put it on our cars, like it's a sister club. I just thought it was kind of cool.
That'd be fun.
51. Mater has had a much more exciting career than I have had.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I love the Impala 13 instead of Apollo 13. It's kind of epic. Anyway, we just did a whole lot of screwing around, goofing off, doing a bunch of rides that we don't normally do. Colleen did the jumping jellyfish, which was really fun. And I guess not as bad. I don't do rides like this, but she's like, dude, it's so tame.
Yeah, like toddlers could have gone on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's different than the other one we
I
used to have.
didn't do it. Yeah,
The-
the one they took out that was like the horrifying parachute drop over knots.
What they had before was the Maliboomer, which it was one that launched you in the air instead of like taking you up and dropping you. It launched you in the air, and then you just came down, bouncing down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
That one's a lot better.
I don't do rides like that at all. And so basically after doing that, I went and sat at the waterfront to save seats for our World of Color show.
Yeah.
And I sent Colleen out so she could kind of go wandering around and check things out. And she foraged for food and snacks.
So
And-
I came back with the final item from the Food and Wine Festival that we got that was really good. It was from Aunt Cass Cafe, and it was burrata toast. Toasted sourdough, onion jam, burrata, tomatoes, arugula with a balsamic glaze.
And
Yum, yum.
Colleen was there she's always there for the sourdough.
Oh man.
Because like we had to go through the sourdough factory tour to get samples, and then she bought a loaf of sourdough bread.
I gotta tell you guys,
She's
so
a sourdough junkie.
we ate the burrata toast and some popcorn, and I got a soda for Sean, and then I wanted hot cocoa, so I went back to Ghirardelli, where, oh my gosh, you guys, if you are either in DCA or if you're park hopping, Ghirardelli is the only place to get hot cocoa. It is so good. It comes with whipped cream and with a piece of chocolate.
It's real chocolate.
It's really
cocoa.
expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like almost $8 for a small.
Yeah.
But that with the loaf of sliced sourdough bread and butter, oh my gosh, so good.
That would have been Colleen's like frontier meal.
Right. Well, I mean,
I have hot chocolate
didn't-
and I have
we
sourdough.
didn't really need the popcorn. We could have just had the loaf of bread with the butter.
Yes, but then
And-
you wouldn't have had anything to bring home.
Right.
bummer.
It didn't matter because it's already stale.
Oh no!
Yeah, it got stale really fast.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah, but I'm eating it anyway. It
Well,
makes good toast.
Sure. Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time hanging out at the waterfront here. We were in what was officially Paradise Gardens Park is what it's called, and it's really all cement and stuff. I don't know why they call it gardens, but it's got this great view of the waterfront. The Incredicoaster wasn't running, which was weird. It made it really quiet. So like usually I would take a picture of the train going through the loop, but that wasn't happening. And
bummer.
and so I just spent a bunch of time like sitting around saving our spot, which was dead center right up against the fence. You couldn't really get a better spot. And
Cool.
And we were worried about, or I was worried about getting wet because they had all these signs that said, you're going to get wet if you sit here. And it was basically like being sprinkled on.
yeah, the thing that really worried you was when the people next to us started putting ponchos on.
Yeah.
Ah.
Rain ponchos.
Right, because we were like, oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, oh my gosh, how much water is there going to be?
So yeah, here's the not so good selfie in the dark. But anyway, it was a beautiful show, and we really enjoyed it, and it was great to be like that close to it, to where like when the flames shot up or the really high water happened, you had to look up to see the end of it, which was great. And so
Okay.
and all the projections and stuff. And I didn't take pictures of the whole show because I wanted to enjoy the show. We had our magic bands on, which didn't really seem to do much with the show.
I honestly think that the magic bands are more of a distraction than an enhancement.
Been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're watching the show and then you feel it buzz on your wrist, so you look at your wrist and you stop looking at the show.
Right.
And then you're like, "Oh, it's a color."
Yeah,
It's not even
I think
exciting.
If you get certain ears that do that
Okay, the
actually
ears-
work with the show too.
Are kind of cooler because everybody wears them and everybody gets to see that. But with the watch, you really only see it yourself.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, and when they did Paint the Night, which is coming back, Paint the Night had paintbrushes that lit up, and everybody would like hold their paintbrush up, and that would be really cool. But I don't think they're doing that.
Jeff, you know how I have the thing where I feel like I've gotten my money's worth if I get my 9 experiences. You probably missed how many experiences we had. 4 shops, 7 rides, 4 experiences, 2 shows, and 9 different foods.
Nice.
That was a busy day.
It was a
That's
busy
pretty
day.
good.
And we got home and it was before midnight.
Right.
So.
And amusingly, so we found out about this 9 to 11 experiences, which is what Disney says is a good day. You have 9 to 11 experiences, you have had a successful Disney day as far as they're concerned. We found out about that like exactly 10 years ago because we found out we were traveling on the train in the Lilybell car just as passengers, but there was a tour going on, one of those paid tours. It costs you like $250 or whatever. And the guy was new, and he ran out of trivia by like New Orleans Square. He did not pace himself. And so he's like, well, what do you want to know? Just ask me some questions. And then at one point he actually said, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but, and then he started telling us stuff from like his Disney work manual, which was hysterical.
Okay.
And
was awesome.
That's how we learned about that 9 to 11 experiences thing, and we've taken it to heart.
It's a good rule of thumb.
It's
really.
great. It's great, and it's nice to know what the company thinks is a good day.
Yeah.
But if I have 9 experiences, I do feel like I've had a full day.
Yeah.
This was just like insane how much we did.
Yeah.
And also it was so quiet at the park that we're not even telling you all of the time when we were just sitting around.
Yeah, we sat on our
I was
butt
reading a book.
Nice.
So it's funny. I do have to say one more
few
thing
like
about Disney. I went and looked at another food package today, and that is the one that goes along with the Star Wars projection / fireworks show. They have a Docking Bay 7 meal package. They don't even tell you, they tell you the price, but they don't tell you what you get in the meal package.
Right.
They say, here's an example of what you might get.
Oh.
So, I don't know.
Kind
I kind of want to do it, except it's expensive.
Yeah.
Because the foods look kind of fun, but then on the other hand, I'm like, but you don't know if you're going to get that. I just feel like it would be kind of a mini experience like you would get if you had gone on the Halcyon. I know it's nowhere near the same, but...
Well, I'm not even sure they're doing that meal thing right now because of the projection.
No, they
show.
totally are.
Oh, are they? Because
Yeah.
I asked them, and I said no. And they said no when I asked.
Were you there on a weekday?
Yeah.
They're only doing it on weekends.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
There you go. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw the projection show recently for the first time, and it was epic. It was really great. So, but honestly, standing down below the Millennium Falcon, sort of backed up towards Dock Andor's, was a perfect place to see it. So,
okay.
Unlike the fireworks, I don't feel like being over in Docking Bay 7 would have made my experience any better. So,
I think this is more of an experience for the food they're giving you, even.
right.
Than, like, I wouldn't get it for the standing. Sorry to keep interrupting myself, even, but what we didn't mention is that the spot where we were, the front center, we were in a way better spot than we would have gotten had we finished with the food.
Oh yeah, if we had done the Magic Key Terrace thing.
Yeah.
Yes, completely.
They were not seated. They were standing.
Yeah.
And they were like on the third terrace up, I think.
But one of the people that you're with has to be willing to stay and camp out.
Yeah.
To do it. So like
That's true.
I got into the pre-loading section, then I got into the final loading section, and that was like an hour and a half before the show, I think. And so, but that said, I feel like we had a much better experience with World of Color than we had at Tokyo Disneyland with their water show, which was done in the same way. Like they split Colleen and I up because they had little numbers on the ground, and you like bought a ticket and made a reservation or whatever, and they put you on a number, and like Colleen and I couldn't sit together. She was like on the ground, I was on a step. It was like dumb. And then the show was just like meh.
So I just put a link in our chat.
Yeah.
Can you show people what it is that you get at the reserved dinner?
I can. Let me go.
It's not anything that they serve at any other time at at Docking Bay 7.
Ouch.
It is $90.
Nice.
Oh,
So it's really expensive.
It's a sort of bento box looking thing that is here, let me get this fired
It's
up.
basically it's a bento box, and it contains, it says menu items may include.
Right.
And so I'm assuming this is what they have in this particular bento box.
I mean, it just looks like parts of other things that they normally sell there.
I don't think they have cheeseburger croquettes normally. Assorted cheeses and fruit, wonton citrus ginger chicken salad taco, pastries,
none of this looks
chocolate,
familiar, really.
a specialty themed non-alcoholic beverage, and an opportunity to purchase wine or beer if you're old enough and you want to. And then so you get this, and then you get the seating with the or not seating, you get the special spot.
Right, you
for
get
the
the
fireworks.
overhang for the
I will have to say that when I look at this, it makes me more excited for Life Day, and
Hope so,
the
yeah.
thought that we're, fingers crossed, going to be able to have an outside of the park Life Day event where we could potentially have things like this.
Yeah. So just in case you guys don't know what Colleen's talking about, we have been hosting for 6-7 years now a Life Day event at Disneyland that happens November 17th, and then like a weekend day that is before that, so that people with Magic Keys can kind of like get in. But because of the reservation system at Disney, because the prices have gone up, things have been getting so complicated, we're not going to stop doing it at Disneyland, but we are going to try and do an outside of the park event. We're talking with somebody who has a black box theater that has no seats in it. We're thinking of basically doing a mixer, like a party. People can come in. We're going to show the holiday special on a screen. We're still going to do caroling and have fun and do all the kind of stuff we normally do. But one of the things that we want to add to this, because we're not constrained by Disney, is like a potluck. And you can make some of the cool things from the Batu cookbook, the Wookiee cookie cookbook, like all the Star Wars cookbooks that are out there.
Cool.
You can make something, and there's a fair amount of trust here that people know how to cook. But kind of like a church potluck, everybody's going to bring a dish, and we'll label everything, and you can try all these different things. And so I think it'll be kind of a cool, fun addition to make it an event that's unique on its own, aside from what we're already doing at Disneyland. So more information on that as we get closer to November and Life Day.
Sweet.
So Jeff, what did you do over the weekend?
Now that we've been talking for like
you know what?
an
I
hour.
do have to say that if
Yeah,
you're
that's most of it anyway.
the non-alcoholic drink that they're showing in the picture, if that's what you get, is pretty cool looking. It's like a what's the drink they have it? It's
Fuzzy
like
Tauntaun?
a Maloran juice.
But
But they have a hunk of
Like cotton candy?
cotton candy on it.
Is it cotton candy? Because
Looks
that's
like cotton candy to me.
because that stuff disintegrates the minute you get it wet. So
Well, Drink it fast.
If it's floating on top, it might be long enough for at least a picture.
It reminds me of the kind of foam that's on a fuzzy tauntaun.
What is on a fuzzy tauntaun?
It's a whipped foam with a kind of powder in it that makes your lips tingle.
Oh,
But
well, that looks fun.
It's not cotton candy. It is a whipped foam that is applied to the top of the drink.
Ah, okay.
Don't know.
I'll have to try an experiment sometime because I don't remember ever being able to put cotton candy.
No, you wouldn't. It would melt instantly.
On a drink that.
I thought they like threw it on there and took a picture.
No, that'd be bad.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, that was our weekend.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts.
We did do more throughout the week, but that was our weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what'd you do, Jeff?
Well, we did have Easter stuff. So they did a little thing for the dogs, and out back, and then a regular Easter egg hunt, and then we had food, and
Oh yeah, it was Easter. Wasn't
kids
it?
were over, so it was all fun. And if I can find pictures of at least the dogs in their little Easter outfits, I'll post them. But it was nice, and then I had to go to work.
Wah, wah, wah.
So I got to do at least Easter stuff beforehand and then go to work.
So you were working on Easter Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't have a park hopper,
other
so
than
we
I
didn't
worked
go
on
to
the
Disneyland.
shed.
You did what with a shed?
So worked on the shed. So the shed is now sort of posted in. I got a packet of those stakes to slap on the ground there to hold it in place.
Okay. And when you say shed, how big a shed are we talking about? Is it like 8 by 8? How big is this thing?
Yeah, almost 8 by 7.5, I think.
Okay.
That's how big it is. And so it's got pallets on underneath it, like plastic pallets. That's its foundation. It's suggested using concrete in the construction. I'm like, yeah, no. But so we did that, and it's now sort of wedged in its place by stakes. And then I'm going to have to figure out a way to keep it on there, which is probably like a rubber mat or something. Not sure yet just what just yet, but in any case, we were today building parts of it, so ended up getting like some of the eaves done, because it's separate components or like separate parts that you're all going to slap together eventually when they're all connected and you're done, and so like the eaves and a door today. So I got that done.
Cool.
Yeah, it's it's lengthy process, and the instructions are kind of confusing.
Much more complicated than I want.
Not that confusing.
I want a shed on the side of the house that I can put
like-
tools and stuff in, but I don't want it to be that complicated.
Yeah, it's like Aubrey sent me a video. It's that the company made. Follow this video to because apparently they've had complaints about the manual to build it. And I'm looking, and we're like we've already done like three or so things, and like, so how is this hard? I'm guessing because the instructions aren't really, they don't tell you like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sort of they do give a brief description of what to do in certain things, and then it'll have a drawing, and it'll tell you where the screws go or whatever else. It's like, it's stuff that I can figure out pretty easily. I mean, but I'm guessing the average person doesn't really relate to that well or do that well.
I think these days that a lot of companies imagine that you're going to go online looking for assistance. Yeah. Colleen and I bought 2 vacuums over the course of the week, and both of the vacuums that we got, one was a Shark, which was heavier and clunkier and clumsier than it had indicated in the ad, so we're taking that back. And one is a Dyson, which is replacing a Dyson that we had that died. And both of those don't have really adequate instructions, including the Dyson, which has a couple of instructions that are really nice, but they're basic, and it's like, here's how you mount it to the wall.
Yeah.
But there is no instruction booklet for how to use the vacuum and which attachments to use at what time for what purpose. So I think they're really counting on us to go to their website and look that information up these days instead of printing something and throwing it in the box.
Yeah. But other than that, it's like we've got the 3 things done. I'm going to work on it again tomorrow before going to the science night, and then see how much more I can get done. Keep plugging away at it.
Is science night tomorrow?
Get this thing finished.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Science night is tomorrow.
Community Science Night tomorrow at 5 p.m. Santiago Canyon College.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
Yep.
I didn't see it when
Yeah.
I looked at the calendar earlier tonight and wasn't sure if it was this week or next
I should
week.
send Tim a message and see if he wants to show cars off or not again. But
That's probably a good point,
Who
because
knows?
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
yeah.
Sometimes we get replaced with food trucks.
Yeah, I know.
We got replaced
Hey.
with a really bad DeLorean last year.
Rude.
It wasn't even a Back to the Future DeLorean. It was just like a DeLorean. I'm like, really? Come on.
Oh, boo.
No worries.
That's not cool.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So
That's about it, really.
we kind of spur of the
goes.
moment on Tuesday went to the Culver City Historical Society lecture on finding locations that TV shows and movies were used in Culver City and Venice, which are really close to us. And basically we saw a little film that you can see online, and I'll tell you guys what the name of the place is where you can see this, because I think it's more than just local locations. But
Chris
I haven't looked.
Bungo Studios was the name of the guy who came and spoke.
Excellent.
And that's a URL. It's called
Bungo?
go to chrisbungostudios.com.
Oh,
And
okay.
he focused on Culver City because that's where this historical society was.
But he lives in Florida.
He lives in Miami, yeah, which was really kind of interesting. But you would have liked this lecture, I think, Jeff, because basically what he did is he would show a place in a Little Rascals episode or a Starsky and Hutch episode or Chips or Charlie's Angels or wherever, and then he would show the real place as it is today.
And he would fade back and forth between
And he
the
would,
two.
and I love him for this, man. This is because this is my level of OCD. He would line up the pictures to match. So the shot would exactly match. And I'm like, oh, man, you were my hero. And, it was, he's got a ton of these things. And one of them was hysterical because it was an informational film shot with the help of the Culver City Police Department. And it was one of those films that they used to show you in school, where they'd show you little science films, or they'd show you, how to look both ways before crossing the street, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was
Black
about
blows red on the highway.
this was about what they called the strange ones, and it was basically how not to get picked up by pedophiles. It was so funny, and because it was done in like the 50s, it was super tactful. and it was funny, but because it was made with the cooperation of the Culver City Police Department, they shot everywhere in Culver City, and so they would show these old buildings, like we talked about the Hull building at the beginning of the episode, which was Flynn's Arcade, and you'd see it in the background from like
Nice.
1950, so it was like 70 years ago. It's really super cool. Laurel and Hardy.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah, Charlie's Angels was
Chips.
great. They did some really cool stuff. So go check his thing out. He's got like 150 videos up, and he's got something like 2,000 pictures up, and they're amazing. All of these side by sides and things. So yeah, it was really fun to hear him talk, even though we didn't know Culver City as well as the locals did.
Yeah, there were people who were in the safety films, the one that was done in Culver City. They're like, "Oh, that was at my elementary school," and one guy raised his hand and he said, "Yeah, I'm that kid right there."
Right. I'm that kid. That guy in the theater creeping out on that little girl, that's my dad, who was a police officer at the time, and the little girl is his daughter. It was hysterical.
I think I found it. Boop.
ChrisBungoStudios.com.
No, the short you're talking
Oh,
about.
the short.
I think I found the short.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's super, super cool. Super, super cool. Let me jump in real quick and remind you guys that this is Docking Bay 94. I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby.
This is Jeff Donoho.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
And you are either listening to us on sci-fi.radio by audio, or you are watching us on Facebook or Twitch or on YouTube. Also, we are getting this set up as a podcast. So if everything goes well this week, you should be able to listen to us on a number of podcast services. More information on that as it develops. It's been a tech issue. And Gene Turnbow, intrepid producer and owner of sci-fi.radio, has gotten it all figured out. So I will let you know as we get that sorted out, so you can listen to us offline. And hopefully that's cool. But of course, you can always see us on YouTube. You can always watch us on Twitch for 2 weeks. And on Facebook. I think Facebook keeps us for a couple of months before they ditch it. So, because there is a video component here. You can see our smiling faces for whatever that's worth. And is Kit
Kit's working tonight.
She's working tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She went to work this afternoon.
I didn't realize that. I didn't put that in our usual blurb. I'm like, I had it all set up for that, and then I'm like, oh, Kit's linking links, and then it's like, no, Kit's at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Dope.
So let's get into Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. Okie dokie. Let's see here. Birthday history for Star Wars. We have April 18th, 1930. That's when Clive Revel was born. He was the original voice for the Emperor Palpatine. And, of course, 200 other credits, or 199 other credits. So, not just that.
Well, and he's an actor from New Zealand who became like a top voice actor, and he just passed away last month at the age of 94.
And I remember seeing him something from like the 60s or something.
Yeah, well, he was...
I'd have to look it up.
He was in The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. He did voices in like Transformers the movie. He was the narrator of Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas in 2004. He played...
oh, wow, okay.
He played Alfred in Batman the Animated Series for like 6 or 8 episodes. They had a couple different Alfreds in there. He was on Babylon 5. He did the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures cartoon. The Butter Battle Book. Remember the Butter Battle Book from Dr. Seuss? He was in that. Anyway, the guy was just crazy. And he was in
the new Avengers.
Magnum P.I., Twilight Zone, The Love Boat, T.J. Hooker. I mean, the dude was busy.
Because I remember I looked. He was in the new Avengers, which I'm not sure what relation that is to the the original one, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either. Huh?
Just on one episode though. Weird. Mark Crayford.
Yeah, he was in the movie Modesty
I remember seeing him
Blaze.
Something else. But yeah, I can't remember. There's some movie that I saw this guy in from gosh knows when it was, in live action, and now it's gonna bug me. But
You'll remember it when we go off the air.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, that was it.
Yeah.
It was that thing.
Yeah. Nabbit. Okay. The second person on the list is April 24th, 1933. That's when Claire Davenport was born. She played, well, this is a hard one to say, but Yarna Dahl Gargan in Return of the Jedi.
Dahl Gargan. Yeah.
The dancing ample woman. She's
Did you
very
say-
ample in the yes.
Apple or ample?
Ample.
Right. She was
AMPLE.
the multi-breasted dancer in Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
So
But character actress. So I mean, 97 other credits. So
oh, really?
not like she was doing one thing. So 97 other things. Alice in Wonderland and yeah, Elephant Man.
Oh my gosh. The Return of the Pink Panther?
Yeah.
She was the
Yeah.
Empress in Doctor Who. Early in Doctor Who. Interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty
cool.
She's had
So,
some good roles. Right on. Remington Steele.
Yeah. See, listen, everyone had been on there apparently. You were on Star Wars. You were on Remington Steele. But yeah, so that was what she did. Our last person on the list is April 22nd, 1939. That's when Mark Jones was born. He played Commander Nimitz in Empire Strikes Back. And of course he had 54 other credits, including Red Dwarf. So there you go.
Right. Now, well, and he was in Doctor Who, which was pretty cool. But so I love Star Wars sometimes because they're like, oh, he played such and such a character, and so if they give a name on like Wikipedia or whatever, but if you look him up in IMDb, he is just known as Imperial Officer. And that's the thing that makes me laugh. Is it like, oh yeah, Star Wars is like, oh, he's blah blah blah. Whereas in the real world, he's just like, oh yeah, he was like a background guy.
Yeah.
And I can't track him. I track him down to what scene he was in Empire. I recognize him. I don't remember what scene he was in.
Okay.
Oh well.
But yeah. There we go. So that's it for the birthdays portion. After that was let's see here. April 21st, 2005 was when Celebration 3 was held in Indianapolis.
And we were there. See, that's funny because I thought it was further into May.
Yeah, me too.
Well, it was by the time we got home.
Right. Maybe that was it.
I mean, May is coming up. It's like 6 days from now.
Yeah. But so Celebration 3 was really interesting because we drove across the country, Colleen and I. It was the first display of Road Squadron. It's the first time we ever got enough cars together to display. We did it from all around the country. We caravanned with a family from Fontana, who is sadly no longer with us. Bill and Sandy have passed away. They had the Millennium Falcon Chevelle. It wasn't a Nova, it was a Chevelle. And so we drove across country with them part of the way, which was fun. And and we had like a great trip out, and then when we got there, it hailed, it snowed, it rained.
It was sunny.
There was slush, and then the day we got there and the day we left was sunny.
Oh, okay.
But it was fun. That was my first celebration. Colleen promised I could go because I missed Celebration 1 and 2. And
so we went.
And we went. We had an epic road
Oh,
trip.
Okay. 2 others, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. April 23rd, 2010, Boba made his debut, Boba-Kit, on The Clone Wars. Second season opener. So it was like it was young Boba, but not
kid
young
Boba
from the prequel.
And was it Daniel Logan?
He did the voice, yeah.
Great.
Which was pretty cool. I'm like, all right.
Super cool.
Yeah. And then lastly, Star Wars Identities, the exhibition opened in Montreal on April 19th, 2012.
This exhibit never really came out here, which made me kind of sad.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen it. The idea was that it talked about like the characters and the personalities and things like that. And it traveled quite a bit, but it never came to L.A. But I heard it was really great. And the art from it was really cool. They had like silhouettes of characters that were all made of other Star Wars elements, like ships and lightsabers and things. It was really neat art. So,
so there you go. That's it for that.
Cool. So last week everybody was a celebration, like we mentioned earlier.
right.
And many people are on their way home or already at home. And there was news while we were doing our show last week, the news, because it was already Friday when we do our show. On Thursday night, it's Friday morning in Japan, so the news started rolling in. But all we got was like the first couple of news items. So there was a lot of other news that came out. Sean, do you want to take the news because you're
sure.
plugged into it?
Of course, the big deal is that I guess what's considered Celebration 11, if you count them all up, is going to be here in Los Angeles.
Not Anaheim.
In 2027. And so a lot of people are happy about this or sad about this. There's a lot of frustration over it. So back in 2007, for the 30th anniversary of Star Wars, the city of LA contacted me and by extension the Rebel Legion and the 501st and got us involved in trying to get Lucasfilm to come to Los Angeles and hold Celebration 4 in LA. They wined and dined Lucasfilm. We met them at the convention center. I parked my car in one of the display areas for scale. We gave them a tour. We went to the Staples Center. We did all sorts of stuff. And the city of LA like flew them around in a helicopter. They really put on the show for them. And I think inevitably they also gave them an incredible deal on the convention center because the folks that we were working with for the LA Chamber of Commerce and whatever, they really wanted this event. They thought that this was going to bring a lot of people to the city, and they weren't wrong. And Los Angeles wasn't hosting a lot of stuff like this yet.
It was weird, though, because the downtown area near the convention center was all ramping up to be a better downtown, and they weren't there yet.
Right. And
when we had the convention.
That
so
was the point that I was
bummer.
going to make, is that actually they weren't ready for it yet. The infrastructure wasn't in place. Like right now, if you go to downtown LA, there are hotels. There's LA Live, which is just north of what used to be the Staples Center. It's like Crypto Arena or something right now. The convention center is really built out in the area. They've upgraded it a couple of times. They hold 100,000 person conventions there with like the auto show and that kind of thing. It's really a much better place to hold a convention now, but they have the stigma of having had it 20 years ago. In fact, now there are trains that will take you into the area of the convention center. And so like in our case, if we weren't displaying our cars there, which we probably will, we could drive up to like the Gold Line, park our car for free, get on the train, go downtown, get off, and go to the convention center.
I think the train did go to the convention center at the time because I took the train one of the days.
Oh, I don't remember it being there at the time, but maybe it was.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Anyway, so back in the day, they weren't quite ready for it, but they had it anyway, and it all worked out. Nobody died. Everything was fine. And we busted our butts as fans to make it happen. I went to city council meetings. We had plans for a parade at one point that eventually they canceled in favor of having a jetpack rocket guy dressed as Boba-Kit out in front instead, and they did a bunch of other things like that. And we got it declared Star Wars Day. It happened on May 25th, which was the actual 30th anniversary of Star Wars, which was it was a great time. So I'm glad it's coming back. I would have been perfectly happy to have it in Anaheim because Anaheim has been working out. But what I hear, and this may or may not be true, I haven't been able to check it out. I've heard two different things. One is that the convention center in Anaheim is going to be under construction, and therefore they couldn't have it there, so they had to have it in downtown. The second thing that's a possibility is that weekend is already reserved by WonderCon, which is the big convention in Los Angeles that Comic-Con International holds.
Oh.
It's kind of scary to think if they would have WonderCon and Star Wars Celebration the same day.
I think that's a terrible idea. Yeah. So I'm hoping that that's not really the case, or one of them will move, or whatever's going on. So at this point, I think first off, the infrastructure's better in downtown, and I think we'll all benefit from that. Secondly, we are going to be ramping up here in the city of LA for the Summer Olympics in 2028. So a lot of the things that they're getting ready for that hopefully will also benefit this convention. That'll be a year away, but and the convention, of course, is 2 years away. This is 2027 that we're talking about. So I feel like this could actually be really good. Certainly better than the last one, which I thought was fine. To be fair, I busted my butt. I did a lot of work on it, and it went smoothly enough that I felt really good about the work that I did for it. So I might be an unreliable narrator just because it was like so much work. But I also know Lucasfilm was happy with it, and I know a lot of people who went, like you attended, Jeff. Like we missed each other somehow because you were there. Yeah. You remember coming by the cars and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, we probably stood next to each other and didn't say hi. I took
a picture of one, the X-Wing on display, and I think Randy's actually in the picture. Do you know him yet?
That's awesome.
That's fun.
So, I mean, you thought it was an okay convention, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I just couldn't. I mean, we just went in. My friend and I went in there, because Star Wars, and I don't know what. I think we just bought the one day or something and went in. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see a lot, but it was still pretty cool.
Well, I think that it went pretty well, and of course they did it in Orlando later, and Orlando was amazing, and they had the support of Disney, and then when they brought it to Anaheim, and Disney owned Star Wars, of course it was tremendous. But the people who were working for Lucasfilm at the time aren't working there anymore. Steve Sansweet is gone. Mary Franklin is gone. It's still Reed Pop. Yeah. And Reed Pop took over after. So Celebration 3 was run by a completely different company. It was run by Gen Con. And Gen Con kind of got fired or quit. And Reed Pop took over. But I've been hearing through Facebook and elsewhere that Japan, as amazing as it was, and as terrific and welcoming as the country was and the culture was, a lot of people were really upset with the way the convention ran in Japan, which is kind of really interesting because Japan knows how to do things in an orderly, organized fashion. If we learned anything on our trip there a couple of years ago, it was that, especially going to the Disney parks and all that kind of stuff. So I heard, and, anyone who went, please feel free to correct me. I heard that in a lot of cases there were issues all over the place, and they may have been handled quickly, but there were issues nonetheless. So
I heard that too.
I don't think any convention is safe. There will always be people who don't have a good time. So I think we just have to roll with it. But April 1 to 4 in 2027. And because it's April 1st, everybody thought it was a joke at first. They're like, April Fools, ah ha ha. but it does fall right around WonderCon, so there is a good chance that we will have WonderCon and Star Wars, or Star Wars and WonderCon
I could find
boy.
within 2 weeks.
the date for WonderCon 2026, but not
I
2027.
could not. I could not find one
Yeah,
for 2027.
Yeah.
But what's the date for 2026?
The last weekend in March.
Right. And so it's either the last weekend in March or the first weekend in April.
Yep.
It's been the first weekend in April like 5 times. It's been the last weekend in March 9 times. I did all this research on it.
gosh.
I'm not pulling this out of the air. So there's a really good chance that they'll back up against each other, which for people living in
Could be.
LA is gonna suck. It's gonna be really bad.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Eric. Eric Gerds subscribed at Tier 1.
Wow, gosh, thanks, Eric.
Woo!
Hey, and also to Eric, who's he's been. We thought he was going to have an operation this week, and we felt really bad that he didn't. I've been really sympathizing with Eric this week, because that's a bummer. So he's super kind and very generous, and should be thinking about him and not us. Anyway, Celebration will be cool. We'll make it work. The clubs will pull together, and it'll be terrific. And I'll tell you one thing, though. Keeping it in L.A., everyone's like, they should have just moved it to Vegas. They should have put it back in Chicago again. They could have had it in Miami. They could have had
Do
it
not put it in Chicago.
anywhere. I'll tell you the benefit of it being somewhere in L.A. We're close to where they're doing production. So if you remember, if you made it to Celebration last time in Anaheim, that amazing display that they had for The Mandalorian, they couldn't do that anywhere else in the country. Like maybe Vancouver, if they were shooting up in Vancouver, if they did it up in Canada, they could have done that. But there was so much production down here. Disney is down here. The Lucasfilm archives are in San Francisco. That's close enough to truck stuff down. If you want good displays and good Disney Lucasfilm involvement, I feel it needs to be somewhere in the Southern California area. So that's just me and my theory. So I'm expecting big things from them because it's close to all the production they're doing. So just something to kind of temper that. But that was the big announcement. Everybody went nuts. And man, just
but also, in addition to that, I'm just going to run down a really quick list of all the stuff that's listed on StarWars.com as everything you need to know. Star Wars Vision Volume 3, the directors talked about it and told people what the release date was going to be, what I don't know what it is.
it's weird it's not in this article.
I'm sure if I click through it will be, and I'm not willing to. Star Wars Visions presents The Ninth Jedi, which is a continuation of Kara's story from The Ninth Jedi and Child of Hope. ILM celebrates their 50th anniversary and announces a new book being published on November 5th of this year. There were lots of costumes, and they had costume contests. They showed updates that are coming to Millennium Falcon's Smuggler's Run at Galaxy's Edge. They're going to have a new film with Mandalorian and Grogu characters.
Which is interesting. So we actually know an artist who is doing conceptual art for this. Brian Kessinger has been doing conceptual art for this adventure. He's super excited because he's a major Star Wars fan. And we like him. He's a really awesome guy. So he's been doing this stuff. And it's interesting to look at this concept art and see that it is using the Razor Crest and sort of old school Mandalorian stuff as opposed to the most recent stuff with like his N1 Starfighter and things like that. So it looks like it's going to be an older Mandalorian story based on the hardware that they're showing in the concept art.
Oh.
Let's see. 5-part Star Wars Fortnite collaboration. Fortnite Galactic Battle will be coming out next week on May 2nd. Darth Jar Jar enters the Star Wars Fortnite universe, where players will experience new Star Wars gameplay every week until early June. They had a fan spotlight showing people who got engaged and wore costumes and hung out. The cast of Andor, I guess, previewed the 3-episode season 2 premiere, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Rosario Dawson gave 5 secrets about Ahsoka. There was an official trailer for Star Wars Zero Company, which will give us a perspective on the Clone Wars that we've never seen before. And this is it's a single-player turn-based tactics game coming to PCs, PS5, and Xbox Series XS.
I think we talked about this last week, where it's sort of squad combat and stuff, and it could be interesting because I haven't seen anything, any games like this in this particular category for a while. So
they also have a new Lego Star Wars game, which is called Rebuild the Galaxy: Pieces of the Past.
Rebuild the Galaxy was the thing that Darth Jar Jar came from. There was a kid who removed the key piece from his galaxy. It reconfigured the galaxy, and everything in the world changed.
Right.
And it's interesting to look at this poster. Chewbacca's there. They're using some of the Brickheads characters. And
it says you have the opportunity to play with every toy in the box.
Right. And so every category of Lego seems to be represented. And if you look carefully at the photo next to Chewbacca, you will see that Jaxon the rabbit is there, which is kind of an interesting inclusion from the old Marvel Comics line. He was a big, giant green rabbit that fell in with the Star Wars crew. It's kind of nuts. It really is sort of covering absolutely everything.
A new droid, Cookie, COO-K1, was custom built by a group of droid builders from multiple countries, and that was on the Star Wars Celebration Japan live stage.
And he looks like a chef droid.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell whether they built the droid on the stage or whether he cooked on the stage.
I feel like he cooked on the stage.
Because it looks like he cooked.
It looks like they built him in advance.
That makes more sense.
And we talked about the camera droid that was there. That was Gil. Remember Gil, who was he was a Rex, an RX droid, and they gave him a camera, and he came out on stage, and he talked, and he shot video, and he did whatever. And so this is sort of like a sequel to that, where it's a character that fans made up, and he's got 6 arms. He's 7 feet tall.
Apparently, he was in Attack of the Clones. When Anakin and Padme travel in secret aboard a refugee ship from Coruscant to Naboo.
If so, he was way in the deep background.
Yeah.
He was nobody I remember noticing at all.
Yeah.
And he was in the background of Jabba's palace in the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay, cool.
And he was constructed as an elaborate practical puppet on set.
Well, and that's one of the things that's really interesting about what fans are doing these days. They're taking things that are practical effects and they're polishing them because, of course, they've got a lot more time to do this. They put these teams together to build these things. We have some droid builders out here locally who have built B2 Emo, the droid from Andor. And on set, that was operated by 3 different people. One guy moved him around, one guy did his body, one guy did his head, and they had 3 people performing that character. And if you see him at a convention, you've got one guy with one controller performing everything that droid did in the show all by himself. I mean, it's amazing what people are accomplishing in their garage.
And you were correct. They built this before Celebration. They had a year in which to build it. And he was 6.5 or 7 feet tall. It's really big.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then the article that they have on StarWars.com goes into how they built him and how they put him together in Japan and etc.
Yeah.
Dang.
And then the last couple things that were announced. Star Wars The Old Republic shared a featurette looking back at Star Wars The Old Republic.
Well, and so the Old Republic is like 13 years old. And when it was first coming out, they contacted us as fans, and we did the release of this in costume at like SIGGRAPH and all of the trade shows. And a group that Colleen and I have worked with over the past called Blur, who were also the people who made the initial video for Deadpool that got the Deadpool movies made.
Yeah.
Those guys came into Colleen's studio and did a whole bunch of motion capture for
all the
these
cutscenes. Yeah.
terrific
Trailers
that came
actually.
out.
Yeah.
That were advertising it.
And it was funny because at that time I had an office with a window that overlooked the stage, and so out of the corner of my eye while I'm working, I can see the motion capture actors on the set, and without even any dialogue or anyone in costume, because they're all wearing motion capture suits, you can 100% tell that those were Jedi.
They were doing all
It was
the
really neat.
Star Wars moves.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 13 years already.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Star Wars Starfighter we talked about last week with director Sean Levy and star Ryan Gosling. And then Pedro Pascal, Sigourney Weaver, Jon Favreau, and some others got together to celebrate The Mandalorian and Grogu. And there was an announcement there, I believe, that Sigourney Weaver is going to be in the next season.
Right.
Lucasfilm Animation 20th anniversary announced Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord with surprise guest Sam Witwer.
He's been doing the voice of Maul for a while.
And then Disney Plus had a trailer for Light and Magic Season 2.
Cool. That's all the ILM stuff. Very
And
neat.
then they showed some covers for new manga novels and art books. And they did Star Wars Thrawn Mansang.
Thrawn was a Timothy Zahn novel, and he created Thrawn, whom we've been seeing in a lot of stuff. And Timothy Zahn's largely considered to be one of the best Star Wars writers in recent times, so that's pretty cool.
And Hasbro showed off some toys. They are bringing Star Wars Legends to life. And they've got some cool aliens and a guy who looks more like a fan.
He looks
dressed
like
in
he's
his own
Star Wars
costume.
bounding, doesn't
Yeah.
he? I think
He looks like somebody at Galaxy's Edge.
I think he's Cal Kestis
He is. And he is
from the game.
rocking a suave mustache.
Yeah, not so much. I don't. Oh no, that isn't.
Dash Rendar?
That's the picture that they're showing. Isn't even the right head for him. I'm going to show you this other head
please.
because he's got a full-on porn stash. This is hysterical.
Dash Rendar is another one of the characters.
Yeah, Dash
that-
Rendar was from Shadows of the Empire.
He's got a mullet.
A mullet and a porn
Yes.
stash, right?
Wow.
But the rest of
That's
his clothes
awesome.
totally looks like he's Disney bounding Star Wars.
They do. And he went into droid builders and made a droid.
Right. Well, he has always had this sidekick droid, and in fact, it looks very much like the one that Dawn built for us in the corner, with the blue, thing. Do you have him over there?
Yeah, but it's like I tried to pick him up by the head, and that was a
But
bad
she
idea.
can't get him out.
Oh, you can't see this.
Yeah, you can see it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so Dawn built that. He looks very similar. He needs some love. I got to fix him up so that we can take him places. But
He's very cute.
this porn stash thing totally makes me laugh. And then there's this other head that we saw, same guy, different head, where he's a
Oh,
little
yeah.
more. He's a little more
Looks more like him, yes.
cut down. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is better. Very nice Han Solo, looking
frog.
pretty good, and Chewbacca is looking pretty decent. And this is Dash Rendar, and Dash Rendar was the Han Solo stand-in because Shadows of the Empire took place in between Empire and Jedi when Han Solo was in Carbonite. So they needed a Han Solo stand-in, and that was Dash Rendar. And so he had his own spaceship. He was equally snarky. And this was a really weird book in which there was an alien named Shizor who like had sex pheromones and stuff, and he put Princess Leia under thrall, and it got really weird and creepy.
Shizor was,
Yeah.
Was it this the Moldy Crow one?
No.
Dash?
This
That's
is
not
the
Dash?
this is the Outrider.
The Outrider, okay.
Yeah, he had the Outrider, which was kind of Millennium Falcon like, but
I'm getting it mixed
not
up.
quite. And that was fun. And then there's some characters I don't know.
Excuse me.
Stormtroopers.
The little weird frog guy and the stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And
That's,
here's one for Jeff.
Gideon, Moff Gideon there.
And
Yeah, there we go. All right.
so this is a costume Jeff's in the middle of doing. You're going to have to get some dotted Swiss for that shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Gonna have to dye it.
And the
'Cause where are you gonna find red dotted Swiss?
the Bantha is coming back.
that's
Got me
pretty
there.
neat.
Which is really fun. I think I have one around here, and I wonder if it's the same. Oh, I do. It's like right here. I don't know if it's the same exact one. He's caught on a Happy Meal box. But yeah, so I have one over here that is
Very similar.
big fuzzy bantha that looks like kind of the same. So they
Yeah.
may just be reissuing that guy.
Could
Which
be.
is cool because it's a really neat toy that not a lot of people got. And so yeah, so having other people be able to get it. It looks like that one has an open mouth or a mouth that opens. Mine doesn't.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Hence,
It has like a
he doesn't
special saddle thing,
eat
too.
a lot of stuff. That looks like Crosshair.
Yeah. Totally.
It's
Anyway,
very angular.
these are not the droids we're looking for.
Okay, so back to the last couple of things. They had an anime and manga pavilion, which was presented by Star Wars Visions. They had a trailer for Star Wars Outlaws, A Pirate's Fortune, which is Story Pack 2. Join Kay and Nix on a new adventure in Star Wars Outlaws, A Pirate's Fortune, which has Hondo Anaka on a journey that picks up after the completion of the main storyline in the base game.
I bet Hondo Onaka would be a lot of fun to cosplay.
Probably, because you
Totally.
could just make a lot of trouble.
I could choose scenery as Hondo. I think he'd be a lot of fun.
Well, it wouldn't be that hard to do once you got the mask.
Yeah.
The mask would be hard.
Yeah.
Monopoly Go has a Star Wars version. And there is a K2SO Lego set. Cassian says you have to go look at it.
He would.
Young Jedi Adventures has a season 3, and they came out with a trailer. I have to say, Young Jedi Adventures I like better than Clone Wars.
Really? Have you watched it? I haven't watched it.
I
Wow.
watched a couple episodes.
It looks cute, and
It's adorable.
Nubs is apparently like huge, but
I mean, it's definitely for little kids, but it's adorable.
and apparently there's some kind of Star Wars meta quest thing going on. They have the Galaxy's
Oh.
Edge game, they have the Vader game, but it looks like there's a third one that I don't know about. So
Huh.
that looks kind of interesting.
Yo.
You said there's a third game. Are you talking about the virtual reality?
No, well, yeah, it's virtual reality. It's the VR headset, but I don't see a blurb about it, which is
So
interesting.
right below, in the article right below the Young Jedi Adventures is Star Wars Beyond Victory, a mixed reality playset.
Yeah.
And that's
Is that it?
it.
Oh, it seems
Yeah,
really...
if you click on the trailer, it starts with
Oh,
a VR
I see.
headset.
Okay, it
Oh.
just looks really weird.
Yeah, it does.
So, One of the things that I was going to bring up, you see a lot of these things branded with ILM 50 as the 50th anniversary of the founding of Industrial Light and Magic. Locally here in Los Angeles, in the old original ILM building in Valjean Avenue by the Van Nuys Airport. And the reason it's by the Van Nuys Airport is because the guys wanted to go take flying lessons while they were letting their computers do their shots. Which was pretty funny. They took a warehouse and they set it up as ILM before they moved up north. And that place on May 3rd is having a screening of Star Wars in their parking lot. And in their facility, they will give you a tour and show you where everything in ILM was. So you can go into this corner and it'll go, here is where we used to build models. Here is the screening room. Here's whatever. I'm going to sign up for it and go. Last year I had my car on display there. It was done through a group that does events all over the San Fernando Valley. And in fact, on Facebook right now, they're showing a little video that has my car in it and has a lot of Rebel Legion and 501st people in it. It is the 3rd of May, which is also Free Comic Book Day. It's a Saturday, but if you love Star Wars and you're in Southern California, you might want to go to this, whether you see the movie or not, because you can take a tour without seeing the movie. So it starts at 3 and it goes to 9 or 10, and it was epic last year. This facility also became Apogee, which is where they did Spaceballs and a bunch of other stuff. John Dykstra kept working out of there when everybody moved up north and he didn't want to go. He stayed there and made movies. And then eventually it became Grant McCune Studios. And then Grant passed away. And now it is an architectural sign shop.
Oh, okay.
Where they make big numbers for buildings and stuff. But, oh my gosh, it was so cool last year. I completely geeked out. I'm sure I annoyed everybody I did the event with because I just would not shut up. Because somebody would say something and then I'd have 5 more stories that involved that place. It was super, super cool. I encourage you to go if you live in Southern California.
I have what was supposed to be the URL for getting the tickets, but it goes nowhere. It was supposed to be tickets for the show are available at myvalleypass.com, and that goes to a 404 page not found.
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can find something. It's called Movies on Location. Here, I've got it. It's right here. If you click tickets, it takes you to it. Apparently, it's $25 for just the movie. Oh, it sounds like Dennis Murin is going to be there. Dennis Murin worked there for ILM at the time.
Are you putting the link where people can get it?
I am. Let's see. Star Wars screening at ILM.
Nice.
There we go. Anyway, it's super cool. You can get just a guided tour. I guess they're starting at 12 noon. And some of these are sold out, by the way. So if you just want a tour, they're sold out. But my gosh, it looks amazing. And yeah, I looked it up before the show. They still have slots available for the Rebel Legion to volunteer. I am so going to this. I know we have a conflict on that day. Some friends of ours are going to a museum, and I'd love to do that. But
gotcha.
This was such a cool event that I don't want to miss it again.
Rats, I work.
On May 3rd? Bummer.
I just checked my schedule. I was like,
I'm so sorry, man. You would love this, and they would love you as Han Solo. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so that's pretty much it for Star Wars Celebration. 45 minutes worth. So.
Well, it was a big event.
Yeah, only?
Yeah. Let's see what else we have. You can make your own ATST puppet if you go to starwars.com. They have directions for how to do that, and it's kind of adorable.
It's a marionette, less
Yeah.
than a puppet, and it's a little doofy looking.
Apparently, they had marionettes, or they will have marionettes in the second season of Andor. In a scene that's like only on screen for a second,
Right.
but they tell you how to.
Well,
how to
this
make them, so.
this is it, and it's pretty cute.
It's cute. What's up with Johnson's trilogy? This is from Superhero Hype, which isn't this the one that always has rumors?
No, I mean
Okay.
they do rumors too, but they're a little more reliable.
Do either of you know what's up with this?
This is Ryan Johnson,
Yeah.
and they announced this like in 2017, so it's been going on for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But they've had
It's
lots.
literally the same thing.
Yeah, they've had a lot of things that basically have come and gone. Like we were supposed to have Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian thing. There was a Taika Waititi movie. They're talking about Ray films. Basically, they're like, we don't know anything.
Yeah. Kathy just basically said the same thing again. She says he's really busy, and we keep talking to him, and he's gonna get.
Right.
We're gonna still do it, but he's just too damn busy to get to
Well,
just start. It takes a big chunk of time to make these movies, make 3 of them.
and I like Ryan Johnson. I like his writing, his directing. His movie in the latest trilogy, The Last Jedi, was my favorite, the middle one. I know that's sometimes an unpopular opinion. I think he did an amazing job. I would love to see him take on another movie because at heart he is a true fan. He like lives and loves Star Wars. And for him, he's always said that making The Last Jedi was like the best film experience he's ever had. It was like a lifetime high point. So I like people with that level of enthusiasm to make Star Wars movies.
And Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith will be coming back to theaters in celebration of its 20-year anniversary.
Yeah.
In case you didn't feel old
We're
enough.
old.
Basically, just go look at your local theater and you'll probably find a screening.
Well, and while we're talking about screenings and stuff, the TCM, Turner Classic Movies Classic Film Festival, I think opened tonight with a 45th anniversary screening of The Empire Strikes Back. George Lucas was on stage to talk about it, and their theme is Grand Illusions, Fantastic Worlds on Film. And of course, we're not going on a Thursday. But they're also supposed to show Jaws, and they're supposed to show an IMAX restoration of Back to the Future, which turns 40 this year. It was supposed to open the film festival in 2020, but COVID, of course. So we're going to have to look into when some of these screenings are and go, Jeff, you and I need to go see Jaws in costume.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
But Blade Runner, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Fabulous Baker Boys, Babe, Michelle Pfeiffer from the Fabulous Baker Boys is going to get her hand and footprints in the Chinese. Superman from 1978, Mamma Mia, The Last Dragon, Car Wash, if you can believe it, from 1976,
Yeah, weird.
The Wiz, Wild at Heart and Blue Velvet, and Heat apparently is going to close that the Michael Mann movie. So, it looks and sounds pretty amazing. I'm going to have to find out when these things are. And they're showing so many old movies. Ben-Hur, Sunset Boulevard, Oklahoma, To Catch a Thief, Cinderella, Disney version. It sounds like an amazing film festival.
Yeah.
And when did you say that's starting?
Now, tonight.
Oh.
Like, apparently The Empire Strikes Back was tonight, I think, with George Lucas in attendance. So we probably know a whole bunch of people who have gone.
Yeah.
It doesn't This article, though, which is on Deadline, does not give the actual date, and I'm scrolling through to the end to see if they...
Individual tickets are $20 for most screenings and events. The official closing night presentation will be $30.
Yeah, I don't need to see that.
Attend.
It says it continues through Sunday, so is it only the
Wow.
weekend?
Maybe.
So it's just this weekend.
But
Festival schedule. Thursday through Sunday.
okay.
Oh.
Well, and Empire Strikes Back's going to be shown in 4K at the Academy Museum out here too. So
You already mentioned that it's at the Chinese
yeah,
in IMAX.
I did. So yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Awesome. Well, I guess the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back at the Chinese is going to be over in 15 minutes.
Right.
Oh.
It's been running tonight. So.
Right. Okay, so moving along. Theme parks. Porto's Bakery at Downtown Disney. Sorry, not Porto's Bakery. What is there now? The sandwich shop.
Earl of Sandwich.
Earl of Sandwich. There has been a demolition permit submitted for that building so that they can demolish the Earl of Sandwich and build Porto's Bakery.
And make it Porto's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something fun that I discovered, I don't remember how, but if you have the Disneyland Resort app on your phone, you can actually look up Club 33.
It's weird. And not only can you look it up, you can apply for membership on it. Which is crazy.
And they show you pictures of the door so that you can find it in the park.
There's an FAQ and there's an actual form you can fill out if you're interested in becoming a member. Which does this mean that they're losing members? In this economy, are they hemorrhaging people?
I
That's
would
what I
think
heard.
so.
That's what I think too.
No.
So
People are dropping off of it, yeah.
What did you say, Jeff?
I heard the people have been dropping off of it.
Yeah.
This is not from work. This is just...
Well, it's expensive. It costs you $50,000 to get in, and then it costs you $15,000 a year to maintain it.
Can you imagine, say you're wealthy enough to have gotten your Club 33 membership, and you're like, it's getting pricier, they're raising the price. But if you don't pay your $15,000 and you decide you want to get back in,
You will never
have
get back in.
But even if you could, you'd have to pay that $50,000 again.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Maybe. I mean, unless they were being kind and they went, you were a previous member. Okay,
don't
we'll let you
know.
buy back in.
Yeah. We do have the question of what the current cost is to join Club 33. Is that
As I recall, the numbers I gave you are correct. $50,000 to buy in, $15,000 a year maintenance.
wow?
And then when you go, you have to pay for your food.
Yeah.
That's not included in that
So
cost.
it's just ridiculous.
They do let you into the park.
mess.
You and a guest, or you and several guests, can get into the park depending on the tier you get. I'm sure it goes more than that. But last time I checked, those were the correct numbers.
Man.
So
Savi's workshop apparently has something new, and I'm not sure what it is because I've looked at the article and I can't tell what's new.
They have new lightsaber parts. And so they've changed the experience a bit. So if you've done it before, this will be different than what you experienced. And then if you want to build a lightsaber, all the parts are different.
It says here that they've scavenged parts.
Yeah, that's what they call it. They scavenged parts. But basically
But that's what they said before.
it means
too,
the
right?
parts you can build lightsabers out of are just different. And they've done another refresh previously.
They have a brand new hilt theme called Reclaimed and Reforged. It is not. It's only at Walt Disney Resort and Disneyland Resort. I don't know if that means that Paris doesn't have lightsaber building or if they don't have new hilts.
Yeah. There is a thing that they're doing, which is they're kind of keeping it on the QT. if you PM me, I will tell you about it. I'm not going to do it on the air because I don't want to get them in trouble.
Spoil it.
But they are doing a new thing where if you buy a saber, if you do the experience, you can come back at night, and they're doing a lightsaber procession through Black Spire like we do for Life Day. It's almost exactly what we do.
Just for the people who did the lightsabers.
For the people who did the lightsaber experience.
That's fun.
And they will let you back into the space in the evening, like late at night. They will let you back in, and you can take all the pictures you want.
Nice.
Okay,
in
so
their space.
So we have a May the 4th foodie guide for Florida and Paris because we actually went over the California stuff earlier,
Sure.
several weeks ago. But since we only have 4 minutes left in the show, I think it's more important
Let's save it
that
for
we
next
talk
week.
about Donald Duck and the Red Guardian.
Right. So there's been a weird thing going around where there's those papers that they put up on posts that have tearaway tags with phone numbers?
Yeah.
There is one of those that purports to be from Donald Duck, who is asking about his missing churro. It's really kind of funny, and I'm not going to guarantee that you can understand this, but I'm going to play it for you and put it on speaker. So, in the event that you, like me, couldn't understand what the heck he was saying, he says this: "Hello, it's me, Donald Duck. Did you find my churro? There's something screwy about this. I don't know what's going on around here. It's too exasperating. Why, I oughta..." And then he hangs up on you. I don't know why Disney's doing it. It's really kind of bizarre that they're doing it, but
Is it actually from
Yeah.
Disney?
it is actually from Disney. And you can't leave a message. There's nothing like that. And then there's a second one that Colleen brought up that is connected to Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
which is the Red Guardian limo service. I'll play that one for you as well.
Yeah. There's a short all about it, too, they did.
Hello, it is I, Red Guardian. Thank you so much for calling Red Guardian Limo Service. Our powerful two-car fleet has all the luxury for a price you can afford. Because you don't want to get taken for a ride when you get taken for a ride. Also, for a good deal, you can purchase tickets now to see Thunderbolts, only in theaters on May of the 2nd. Tell them Red Guardian sent you. It will be the same price, but they will be impressed. Get your tickets now.
So
David Harbour, of course, is Red Guardian.
the commercial, the video is even better than that. The video
The video's amazing.
is amazing,
Yes.
and it has the phone number to call at the end of the video. Highly recommend you all check out the video.
Don Coulter is checking in from Star Wars Night tonight, where Kelly and
Hey,
John
Don.
have gone. Usually Kelly listens to the show. She chimed in at the beginning of the show, but I imagine she's at Disney right now. Don is at Pizza Planet, dressed in his acolyte costume of Khmer.
Cool. Hey, Don.
So, very cool.
That's awesome.
All right.
That's
Very
it.
Cool.
I
We
think
hit
it
the
is.
line.
Let me make sure. I mentioned the MacGuffin Awards, but we can talk about those next week. There's plenty of time. But we are out of time for the evening. So I will remind you that you have been listening to us on sci-fi.radio, sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. You can go to that URL, sci-fi.radio, and check out our schedule for the week. We've always got good stuff going on. I have a show every morning from 9 to 11. That's a morning music show. Today was the birthday of Steven Lisberger. We played a whole bunch of Tron music, which was really cool. And so you can join me then, and we'll wrap out the week at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. You could be watching us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitch. These videos will hang around for a couple of weeks if you want to refer someone over to us. For people like Eric, who subscribed to us very kindly, thank you so much. You can like or subscribe or anything like that. Let us know you were there. To all the people on the chat, thanks for hanging out with us all night. We appreciate your input. We love knowing that you're there, and you guys keep us honest if we say something wrong, and we love being able to answer your questions too if you have those. So thanks for being that involved in this. We're always grateful to do it. And hey, we'll see you next week.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
This is Jeff Soldado.
I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby. As always,
May the
Force be with you. Let's give some credits to the video people over here.
Mitchell Douglas Duncan checked in from St. Louis.
Holy cow,
Wow.
dude. That's amazing.